Today is August 30th, 2020, and this is an interview with Paladin singer and guitarist Taylor Washington by Nick Burkell. Now, Taylor, can you tell me about getting your first guitar?
Oh man. So, first guitar. First of all, that was about 60 years ago. No, I'm 32 now. I started playing guitar like halfway through my freshman year of high school. So, that was like 17 years ago, something like that. And I played clarinet in like school band starting in 6th grade. And a lot of my friends started picking up guitar around high school, late middle school, and I just there would be one always, at least one, sitting around at parties or whatever, and I would sometimes pluck around with it, and I was like, oh, this could be fun. And all my friends were doing it, so I kind of just started playing it because of that, and I like music and playing instruments anyway, so yeah. But my first actual guitar, if you want to go that way, was just a Squire starter pack thing. Nothing special.
Now, growing up in Atlanta, Georgia, what were some dominant music styles that had a large influence on you growing up?
Well, I grew up south of Atlanta, like I don't know, maybe 40 miles south or something like that, in a really small town called Jackson, Georgia, which actually is where they used. It has some notoriety now because some of Stranger Things was filmed there, and I think some other stuff maybe. But I grew up there. I didn't really spend too much time in Atlanta until I moved away, which was pretty much right after high school. I was never really involved with the Atlanta music scene at all until, I don't know, 2008, 2007, something like that. Like I didn't know any local bands or anything like that. So it really wasn't until after high school and after I'd graduated the music school that I went to for a year, that I started getting entrenched into that world, I guess you could say.
Can you tell me about the music school you were a part of, and have you taken private lessons since then to develop your technique?
Sure, I went to the Atlanta Institute of Music, right after high school, like the fall after I graduated or whatever, and it was at the time anyway. It was just a year long program if you took it like full time. And now, I guess it's kind of always expanding and or adding stuff to it and whatever. But because I know now, I think they have actual sort of degree programs, maybe associates. I'm not sure. But at the time, it was just like a certificate thing, and you kind of just went to not necessarily for the credentials, but for everything else. And it was cool. I didn't. A lot of the stuff that we went over, I had already kind of went over a lot myself, just on my own. Funnily enough, to get myself up to speed to go to it, because I thought I would already have to have a good grasp of a bunch of stuff. But anyway, I did that for a year, and we were required to take private lessons with an instructor for the entirety of our tenure. But other than that, I've never had private lessons or any other kind of guitar specific instruction or education.
Now, for your band Paladin, how did you pick out your bandmates, and how far back do you all guys go?
Well, me and Alex, the other guitarist, go back the furthest. And I met him. Actually, I met him through a local message board. So I was just posting a bunch of ads on, whatever, Craigslist and anything else that I could find for just trying to find people for a band. And this was back in, I don't know, '09 or 2010, something around there. So I'd already known him, and then I was part of, so Paladin formed, I guess, 5-ish years ago, 2015. And for a couple years before that, I was in another band that I had written several of the songs that were on Ascension, that ended up being on Ascension. I had written and used for that band. And towards the end of it, Alex had joined on bass. And then that eventually broke up, and then we decided to keep going in some capacity. So Alex switched to guitar. I stayed on guitar and assumed vocal duties. And then our drummer at the time, Aaron, also played with us. He ended up quitting, I don't know, a few months after that. And then we found our current drummer, Nate, later. That was at the end of 2015. And then our friend Ian was originally playing bass, and then he left around 2018. Really can't remember. But anyway, he did leave, and then we got Andy, our current bass player, and he's known Alex forever, as far as I can tell. And yeah, it seems pretty solid now.
What attracted you to using Matt Smith to mix, master, and produce not only last year's Ascension album, but also the Anamnesis EP?
So Matt Smith is like the mastermind, or mastermind, if you will, or if you will not, behind Theocracy, which is a Christian power metal band based in Athens, Georgia, which is not, it's like maybe an hour and a half outside of Atlanta. It's not too far. And I discovered them in 2006, 2007. I loved their music, still do. Big fan of Theocracy and the production and the songwriting and Matt's vocals and everything. And Alex was the same way, actually. So we knew, just based on our fandom, or shared fandom, and the fact that Matt produces all the Theocracy stuff, and he is basically local. And it's it's similar enough to the style of music that we play, that we both knew that we wanted to work with him. And we ended up playing a show with Theocracy, and we were like, okay, we're gonna ask Matt, we're gonna corner him, we're gonna make him agree to work with us. But then after, we were like the first band or something, I don't know, and then he actually approached us, which was really cool. And I was like, yeah, if you guys ever want to record something, and we were like, well, actually, we do. So yeah, we did that. We worked with him for Ascension, and it was great. And the label approached us about doing the Nevermore cover EP. And Matt was pretty much the obvious choice. So we asked him if he wanted to do it, and he did. And so we did.
Now, how does your band usually come up with a new song?
Usually, I like to write kind of in solitude, more or less, and usually I will come up with an idea and flesh out a song by whatever means I happen to use. And once and I'll like program rough drum ideas and whatever, just to give everyone a basic idea. And once I have a song mostly complete, or in a state that could be considered mostly complete, I'll send it to everyone, and I'll probably tab out all the guitar parts, just because it's so much easier to learn that way, I think, than having to, okay, well, you do this fret and then you play this, and trying to show it to everyone in person. And then they might forget it or they might remember it. So I'll basically kind of finish a song and then send it to everyone and let them listen to it and sort of work on it on their own, and then we can get together at rehearsal and try to play through it. The other guys, a lot of the time, will have ideas for intros or transitions or a little arrangement things, or other helpful ideas, tips. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It almost always starts with guitar, also, and I hate writing lyrics, so those are always last.
Can you tell me about some of the techniques from experimenting with scales, using arpeggios, or anything else that were used to compose this album?
Anyone who's listened to the Paladin album or watched any of my just whatever guitar videos can probably guess that I like some technical guitar work now and then. But I try to put songwriting and melody and all that good stuff first. As far as actual guitar techniques, I don't know if I have any kind of proclivity for a certain style, or techniques or whatever. I know I'm not a big sweep picking guy, so although I will do it, and I do it on occasion. I try not to get too much in my head or to sort of I just had a word for it that would be perfect, but I try not to get too analytical and sort of textbooky about it when I'm coming up with guitar parts, or even trying to come up with solos or licks or anything like that. I definitely rely on theory, but or I utilize theory a lot, but I don't rely on it, and I don't adhere strictly to it. I kind of just try to write stuff that sounds good to me. I don't know if that answered any question well
I
at all,
appreciate
but
it. Just wondering, are you like the type of person that believes in palm muting, or do you try to abstain from it?
no, I palm mute all the time. I've never heard of. I didn't know there were people that. I didn't know there were non-palm muting
The late
believers.
great Mike Scotchy from Rigor Mortis, man. That whole 1988 self-titled album,
really?
that was done completely without palm muting. I think probably everything he ever did was done without it too. I mean, I'm just like a big Rigor fan. That's it.
Yeah, I palm mute all the time. It's kind of a staple in a lot of metal in general, I guess. And especially me personally, I palm mute a lot, even not just for rhythm stuff and that kind of thing, but I keep banging my mic. But also for like leads and stuff like that, I find myself palm muting at least a little bit for a lot of things, just because I like the sound, even on higher strings. But yeah, big fan of palm mutes.
Cold of the Night is one of your oldest songs. Tell me the original inspiration for the song, and how has it changed over time?
That song, it is actually, I guess it is one of our earliest released songs, because it was on the demo that we put out in 2017, which was, well, really the first thing we had put out, period. But I actually, I think that was the like sixth or so song I had written for the album, and it kind of marked a turning point where all the songs before that I had written with harsh vocals in mind, because I wrote them when I was in the band prior to Paladin that I mentioned earlier, and so I had to kind of rework those and add in clean vocals and whatever. But Call of the Night, I think, was the first song that I wrote with clean vocals in mind. And I was really happy with how it turned out. I think it was also maybe the first song that I written that I didn't feel like there was. I felt like I had trimmed most of the fat that there was to be trimmed. Like I was pretty happy with the end result, and I didn't really have to edit any of it that much. And even some of the songs on the album, I'm still like I wish I would have changed things or done things differently. Not that I necessarily have ways in mind that I would have done that, but Call of the Night I'm pretty happy with. Yeah, it really didn't change much from Inception to the opposite of Inception.
Shoot for the Sun was the song I was recommended to check out to learn about your band. Tell me how this track came together.
That's a good question. How did it come together? I'm pretty sure I was sitting around and I was like, all right, I'm just going to come up with a really hard to play riff that sort of plays off of my strengths, and I'm just going to make something hard and annoying to play because I don't know why. And that's where that was kind of the impetus for the whole song. Like, let's just make a fast song with hard to play things in it, and then I started coming up with vocals, and I was like, well, I guess these are going to be high and hard to sing too. So Shoot for the Sun was kind of an exercise in torture. I don't know why I wanted to make it as hard as it is. And even on drums, it's like constant double bass for a lot of it. I wouldn't say it's a joy to play for any of us. I kind of didn't even think it would even be a live song. I'd almost written it off as not being playable to any good degree, but it's actually not as bad as I thought it would be. I still joke about it every time that we're gonna play it, like, oh, here's a song that we hate to play, but I really like the song, and it's definitely one of the most straightforward songs on the album, which is part of the reason that I wanted to use it as our first single.
Now, what are some of the more important things you learned about being a professional musician from playing with some of the OG musicians from Atlanta?
First, I think you would have to define what it means to be a professional musician, because you can, I mean, if you define it by in a monetary sense, then you kind of have to be, first of all, you can't rely on your original music to bring you any substantial amount of income. What money you do make, at least in my experience, the money that you do make playing original music and touring as an original band and operating as an original band, most of it will go right back into the band because there are so many band-related expenses for everything. If you want to be a sort of self-sufficient, money-making professional musician, by that definition, you would need to either teach a lot, which I don't. I'm not a big fan of teaching, or do other stuff. Like you can play for cover bands and like corporate bands. Tribute bands have gotten really, really big over the past few years. And I do a bunch of cover stuff just because I have like a freak sort of sense of memory, and it's pretty easy for me to learn and retain things. And I just like playing guitar and playing different stuff. So I do a lot of cover band work, and any kind of like studio or session work is always good. If you want to really make a living doing musician type things, then you'll have to definitely pursue less creative avenues, I guess. And also it would help to have many different areas of pursuit. But if you want to measure it by success and that kind of thing, then well, that's totally different. You can what's the word? Running an original band is worlds apart from doing any kind of for-profit band venture, so to speak.
Okay, now, with a name like Paladin, I have to ask, what are some of your favorite role-playing games?
I am a big SNES guy, so I love Final Fantasy, like 3.
6?
Well, not 3. I love 4, 5, and 6, which is US 2 and 3. And I love Chrono Trigger, Earthbound.
Secret of Mana?
See, I
Dude, you
still have
need to
not
play
played
that
Secret
game.
of
It
Mana.
rules.
Interestingly, I know I've played Final Fantasy Adventure, which was I can't remember. I know it's in that series.
Was it the Game Boy game?
And
Yeah, that was Seiken
yes.
Densetsu 1, and Seiken Densetsu 2 is Secret of Mana, and then Secret Densetsu 3 came out for Super Famicom.
Yeah, okay. I couldn't remember if Secret of Mana was 2 or if it was 3. And just like Earthbound is Mother 2. I never played Mother 1, and I still haven't. I only played Mother 3 a little bit. But I love Earthbound. I love pretty much all SNES RPGs, and Game Boy Advance I was a big fan of. So anything on that, which it also had a bunch of ports, but still. What else? I haven't. I'm a big Dragon Quest fan. I bought Dragon Quest 11 whenever it came out, and I still have barely played it. I've been so lazy within the past, I don't know, year about playing games in general. Even the latest Pokemon, like Pokemon Shield, I bought when it came out, and I still have not even gotten to the first gym because I have just not been playing, and that is pathetic.
Now, what is your favorite ghost story or urban legend about Atlanta, Georgia?
Oh, geez, I was trying to find something to talk about for this, and I really couldn't. And I don't know. There has to be something in the recesses of my
maybe
mind
just Georgia in
that could qualify. I don't know. The only thing that pops into my mind is I know there are the Georgia Guidestones somewhere. I don't even know where they are. I can't remember, and I just know there's some. It's I don't know if it's. I can't remember if it's like some kind of Masonic monuments or what. But that's the closest thing I can, or the only thing I guess I can think of as far as like urban legends and occult kind of stuff. I actually do have one of my friends, Jason, I think has been into like sort of ghost hunting type stuff for the past year or maybe more. I haven't talked to him in a while, but I've seen him post things on Facebook. But yeah, that's I haven't really had any paranormal experiences of my own that I can recall either.
What is your most hallowed musical possession?
I'm not super sentimental about music gear. I mean, the stuff that I have and that I like, I really, really like. But if I have a guitar that, even if it's nice and it's a good guitar, and if I don't ever play it, or if I want something else more than that, then I don't really have a problem sort of getting rid of it to fund it or trading it away or whatever. So I guess kind of nothing sacred.
Maybe
to me.
some autographed CDs or vinyls, maybe?
Yeah, I guess I was just thinking mostly musical gear. I wasn't thinking the broader terms of music. What do I have? Even that, I'm not sure. I did. I've had a couple guitars. Oh, you know what? Here we go. So when we played Progpower, which is a big progressive metal power metal festival in Atlanta every year. Paladin played that last year, and one of the bands that was on the roster was Gonarius, which is a big like Japanese metal band. And me and Alex are both big fans, and we got to meet Shu, the guitarist, backstage, and we both have like signature model guitars of his. We got him to sign our guitars. So that's and Galnerius, I really doubt they'll ever be in the US again. That was their first time ever being over here. And I don't know if I'll ever even get to see him again. So that was really cool. That's probably my signed Galnerius guitar is my most hallowed
Would you like to go
possession.
back to any questions?
I don't think so.
Final words.
Final words. Um, Final words. Fuck COVID. Oh my god. I am so. This year we were supposed to be on tour right now, actually. But yeah, what a frustrating year it's been. But we are thankful to everyone who still likes us, who still thinks of us, who still support us. And we, as soon as we can get back out on the road, we will be doing that. So we hope to see everyone soon.
Well, this has been an interview on August 30th, 2020 with Paladin singer and guitarist Taylor Washington by Nick Purcell.
Hey, this is Taylor Washington, singer and guitarist for Paladin, and you're listening to Japan Nick's Rock and Metal Pandemonium.